Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is the Tool of Farts. My name is Chuck.
I'm Lou. How you doing? When are you gonna get a haircut there?
You've just now noticed that I've been growing my hair out?
You start to look like your teenage years again.
No, I need about 6 more inches in.
Next thing
It
I
was,
know,
it was at least down to here then.
you'll be wearing a damn earring. Next thing,
No, I'm good there. It's almost at the length I want before, it'll stop flipping out like that. So, I just wanted to see what it looked like growing out just a little bit, not a lot.
I'm trying to let
You know,
mine grow out too, but only on the top. Hell, you start to have see my head on top and start to get bald up there.
well, it's definitely thinning up there.
Too damn thin.
I know. You used to have a thick head of hair. I don't know what happened. I guess it's just part of being old. I don't know.
I guess so.
I mean, it's thinning a little bit up in here. It doesn't look like it, but when you get it wet and you kind of move it around, you're like, I can see scalp there that I couldn't see before.
Yeah, I, I looked up. I was thinking about buying some of that stuff to grow the hair, and hell, it said 3 to 6 months. I said,
It
well,
don't grow hair. Trust me, it does not grow hair.
so I figured 3 to 6 months now. We'll see what goes.
Speaking of growing hair, yesterday, my wife and I were looking for something to watch and stumbled across a couple of things on Netflix, and one of them was about this millionaire, and he is trying to like reverse age, and he has spent millions of dollars on this science. He takes like 150 pills a day, like supplements and whatnot, just to slow down the aging process. And he's also doing stuff with his scalp. That's why I've thought of this, because he's got thinning, balding hair. And I mean, like, well, shit, if you can't grow fucking hair, what makes you think you're going to slow down and reverse your aging process? You can't
Well, yeah,
even grow hair, but you're going to mess with, you know, your DNA with genetic gene therapy or whatever. Work on the genes to grow hair.
now if you're gonna work on and do that, how about the memory? You gonna change the damn memory too?
Maybe, I don't know. But he is on a quest to slow down the aging process.
So you gonna have a young body and an old mind and a young body, or whatever.
Something, yeah. He wants to push it out to beyond 120.
Well, I guess you get drink a little alcohol, eat a little fast food. You could probably live to 120.
He fasts like 18 hours a day.
Oh wow.
His schedule's a lot like mine. He gets up at 4:30, goes and works out. But before he works out, he like spends like 30 minutes in this red light and then some white light. I mean, he's doing all kinds of crazy stuff.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens. Most likely not a whole lot.
Probably not. But you never know. They might stumble onto something to slow the age process down.
Well, I guess there's a lot of things you can do and you can't do. I think it just has to do with your genes in your body.
Yeah, some people look like really old for their age, and some people don't look that old.
Yeah. Thankful. I look around when I go to some of our meetings that I go to, look around some of the other guys. They're in the early cities and they look worse than me. So I guess I'll be happy with what I got. Don't complain.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people could benefit from what you said right there, just being satisfied or happy with what you've got and where you're at.
Yeah. If I can keep my fingers and toes cold or warm, I'm all right. That's why I like living in Texas. You just wait around for a day or two, and the weather will change.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Trust me, those 2 weeks I spent in Ohio, I'm good with the cold.
you and me both. Just watching it on TV and all that snow and stuff. Oh man, I get the shivers, and I start thinking about Nebraska in 1962, 3 and 4 and 5. I'm glad I'm not there.
I had flashbacks to being in Kansas, and where we lived, it was like a cul-de-sac. There was like three eightplexes. So on the bottom floor there was four apartments, with a center hallway and a stairwell to go upstairs, and the center and the on the left and the right of the hallway were apartments front and back. And so in this cul-de-sac there was three of these things. Well, at Fort Riley, Kansas, it snows, it's cold, it freezes. And when they would come with the snow plows, that plow, it just piles the snow up on the side. Well, guess what? It would block the whole entrance to our cul-de-sac, and that snow is like 4 or 5 feet high.
Oh, yeah.
And there's just a big parking lot in front, so I have to get up an hour early to make sure that I can shovel my way from that apartment to the car, scrape the ice to where I can open the door, start the car and warm it up. And I always park next to Brenda, so I would get her car ready. Then while the cars are warming up and the defrost is going, then I go back and grab a bag of salt and I salt the sidewalk and the path all the way out to the cars so it won't freeze by the time she leaves.
Oh, yeah.
By this point, a lot of us are already up and doing the same things. And then we have to go to that pile of snow and attack it so we can carve out a way for us to drive out and get to PT in the morning so we can go exercise in that snow.
Yeah, in Nebraska, they'd go out and salt the streets, and then more snow come and cover all the salt up.
So yeah, we were getting a workout just before we had to go do PT, shoveling snow.
Could
So
be
yeah,
worse.
I don't want to live up north. I don't want to shovel snow. I don't want a snow blower. I don't want to hire somebody to do it. I don't want to have to mess with that. I don't want to have to fool with it.
You and me both. I'm happy where I'm at. Boy, it's colder down around hometown in Alabama than it is here. That surprised me when I was looking up the weather the other day. Well, they've had some 30-degree mornings here for the last week or so.
Well, you got to think, they're on a different latitude. They're further north than we are.
Yeah. So,
It always got colder there than
yeah.
it did here. And
So,
it stayed colder longer. I
yeah.
remember even in Georgia, once it got like November, December, it got cold and it didn't start to warm up till the end of February, early March.
Yeah. Yesterday was so nice. I got out there. We got, those lemon trees, and I got some Prada Barbados stuff out there. And I didn't do anything with that, but I got some other plants and stuff. So I moved them all around on the west side of the house there, in between the fence and the house, and covered them up with big old tarpaulin I got. Try to keep them warm. So far, I've got some of those plants. So I've been able to keep them for 2 years. So I'm trying to make this the third year. Those things get expensive in the spring when you start trying to replace them.
Oh yeah. We got some of that stuff ready as well. We kind of consolidated some areas so we can throw a tarp over them. Or if it gets bad enough for long enough, we'll probably bring the lemon trees and whatnot into the garage.
Yeah, that's what I do too. Last year when it got really cold and it would last, for a long period of time, like right now, 30, 32, but it'll warm up to 40, maybe in the 50s. So it's not so bad. But when it stays in the 30s all day long, or
If it's
gets,
going to get in the 20s and stay that way, yeah, you got to bring them in.
and that's what I ended up doing last winter. I ended up put them in the garage for probably about 2 weeks, I guess it was, and moved them back outside. Everything was fine. So I guess
With
in the
all that
meeting,
moving around, do you have a wagon?
no, I use a dolly.
Okay, maybe you need to get one of them garden wagons that you can, put all that stuff in and just drag it over to the side of the house so you can bring it in the garage.
On the bougainvilleas and those kind of things, and those lemon plants. They're in pretty good sized pots, so I can just
Right.
slide that
Dolly underneath it.
dolly on it, tilt it just a little bit, and I'm okay. I can just wheel it around to the back, so not too bad. Then
But I'm
some,
talking about the just general gardening that you do. You could load the wagon up with whatever you need, bags of soil and, all your gear, and then you can just drag it out there.
yeah, I might have to do that. That's some pretty good advice because come springtime, I got a couple of those beds in the garden area. I'll I got my tiller. I go out and till the soil and stuff like that. Like to plant them. And last year I had some pretty good luck. I bought some flower seeds uh, online actually, and they did real well. So I'll probably end up doing that this year too. But I like doing those things. One, I just like doing it. Then second, it kind of keeps me in touch with my heritage and takes back memories and doing things growing up
It
back.
gives you something to do as well.
Yeah, of course it's nice. And I laugh at your mom every day. We've been feeding the birds. I know she does it. We got a bird bath out there. We keep watering the water. The birds will fly into that thing, take their bird bath, and water it all over the place. And she puts out the bird seed, and you'll see the little bitty birds come out. Then you get some big birds. Then you get the squirrels come out. Then she gets a shoe and go out there and throw that squirrel to run the squirrels off because it's eating all the bird seed.
Speaking of squirrels and gardening, you're bringing me back to what Brendan and I were talking about yesterday. We're thinking about cutting down them fruit trees and just digging them up.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the cherry or plum or whatever it is, it has only produced one or two, and it never lasts long enough because the squirrels get them. And the peach tree, of late, it's been doing gangbusters. But by the time they get even close to getting ripe, them squirrels are in there eating them
Oh,
up.
yeah.
And the pear tree, it hardly ever produces anything. It hasn't produced in 5 years. And again, whenever there would be pears, the squirrels would get the damn things. It'd be on the ground, and you'd think, "Oh, it's ready," and you pick it up and you turn it around, and there's a big old bite mark out of it from the squirrel. I'm like, "Son of a bitch!"
Whatever you
So
do,
it's
don't,
like, why have the damn fruit trees? You might as well cut them down.
whatever you do when you cut them down, don't plant an oak tree because then you're gonna be worse.
No, got them acorns and leaves to pick up now, and then those live oaks, they're getting ready to be dropping their leaves in a couple of months.
Well, mine's
You
already
can already see the live oaks turning brown.
already dropping, and I already probably trimmed as much as I can trim. I probably have to have somebody come out and do it. I already had just today alone two people, they dropping their cards off, come up to the door and proceed in the door frame, whatever, and trim the trees and stuff. Because about the 20th of this of January in our area, they have brush pickup.
That's smart.
I like to do that. I used to. I still do. But last winter, last spring when I did, I really hurt this shoulder pretty bad. I didn't know I hurt it. I just started hurting. Then when I go to the doctor, she has to give me a couple of shots, injections there, and says,
The
"No more,
cortisone.
no more trimming trees. And all that stretching and getting up there and lifting that pole chains saw up." But oh well,
Do you still walk?
I have been. I need to get back into it. I kind of laid off in December a little bit, so I need to get back into it.
Well, if you're not going to be trimming trees and anything like that, you still need to keep your muscles and your tendons working. So maybe you can get you a couple of 2 pound, 3 pound, 4 pound dumbbells, not a lot of weight, and then just do arm raises. Where you lift it up like that. Just just lift it up shoulder high. And then like hold them like side by side like this,
Right,
and then like your
right. Just lift them a little bit and just keep.
yeah, just hold the weights here and then just flip and that works the shoulder area.
I got a couple of balls that I squeeze a lot, that help with the
And that's
flesh.
for your hands, yeah, and for your
Yeah. So it helps a little bit. But anyway,
and then sit in a chair and get those dumbbells, those little 2, 3, 4, 5 pounders, and then just lift them up like that. And you're working different parts of your deltoid muscles.
your mom will laugh at me because I'll walk around sometimes. I'll be doing this and some of those old exercises. So I can,
But you know what? Being active is one of the reasons why you look and feel as good as you do because you are staying active. If you use it, you're not going to lose it.
that's right. So could be worse, I guess.
Yeah. So today was the first day I've been to the gym in like a month because I had grand plans when I was in Ohio to go to the gym, but it was so damn cold. I'm like, the hell with it. I ain't going to the gym. Then I came back and I had that sinus infection or sinusitis or whatever it was. So I didn't go to the gym for that week because I was coughing and wheezing. And then I think, let me look at my calendar, make sure I don't let me get my lies straight.
Okay.
So I came back on the 13th, and I was sick the most of the next week,
Oh, yeah. I
and
remember.
coming off of, yeah. And then I went to work, so I didn't go to the gym the whole 16th through the 20th, and then that Monday the 23rd that I worked, I'm like, well, shoot, I haven't worked out in 3 weeks. 3.5, 4. Might as well not work out today, because then I was going to be on leave for the next 2 weeks. So yeah, it had been probably since the week before Thanksgiving that I had been in the gym. So it's probably longer than that. So anyway, I'm like, it's Monday. Not many people are working legs, so I'm going to work legs. So I was doing some squats. I got my regular weights on there, feeling pretty good after the first set. Felt pretty good after the second set. Went to start my third set, and as soon as I went down, I'm like, ooh, I can feel it on the back of my hamstrings. So as soon as I came up, I'm like, we're good. Put the weight back on the rack and didn't do any more squats after that. Man, let me tell you, I'm feeling it right now, the back of my legs.
Yeah, so wait and do a few more tomorrow. Just increase it one or two tomorrow, and one or two the next day.
No, I'm not doing legs the rest of the week. One day's good enough.
Well, what do you think about Texas State pulling that football game out?
Hey, at least they got something to cheer about, and UTSA too.
Yeah. So
And
this,
we have the dubious, Alabama has the dubious distinction of opening and closing out 2024, losing to Michigan.
yeah. So it's it's going to be an interesting year in football. There's a lot of transfers. I mean, not just Alabama. I mean everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Uh, and half the time you don't know what to believe when you read something. It's like yesterday. I think it was yesterday. I saw something to talk about Arch Manning going to Alabama.
Man, these Facebook pages, they are pissing me off, man. They're like, Squirrel White's coming. No, Quinn Ewers was going to go to Georgia, they
Yeah.
were saying. I'm like, man, it's just lies.
Yeah. I don't even read that stuff anymore. It just
When you click on it and the website is like the hunky dory fan.com, you know it's garbage. It
exactly.
ain't real. If it ain't NBC, CBS, ESPN, or 24/7 Sports or something like that, it's garbage.
Yeah, if it's not a sports writer that I know about that's been around, has a little bit of credibility, I don't even bother reading it.
Or from Alabama.com, you know what I'm saying?
Yep. I got an Alabama app. Let's see if I can put it up here. Yeah, I got Tide 100, so I'll look at that, and I got the SEC football. I'll look at that, and I do the ESPN app. Look at stuff. The rest of that stuff I don't pay too much attention to.
So why didn't you look at that Under Armour high school game? Because I saw our tight end that's coming, and I saw Keelan Russell, but he left the game, I think in the third quarter with a leg injury.
I was watching. Was it Ole Miss?
You were watching a bowl game. What? No, it was Georgia, wasn't it?
No, I think it was Ole Miss. Yeah, I think it was Ole Miss I was watching that they were playing and stuff like that. And I'm going to tell you, Lane Kiffin has impressed me this year. His style of coaching has changed to me, and the way he goes about doing things, and the way I think he's turned that Ole Miss program around in the last couple of years, especially last year and this year. But his coaching style, I really begin to like it. Before, I would just never give you a nickel for Lane Kiffin.
You're absolutely right. When he got to Ole Miss, I wasn't too keen on him when he was with, was it Florida Atlantic or FIU or whatever it was.
Yeah,
He had turned the program around, but he was still, I don't know, kind of lippy, kind of mouthy or whatever. But when he got to Ole Miss, he really settled down, and he still likes to clown the media and make points, but he does it differently than Saban does. But Saban did the exact same thing, but Saban was in your face about it.
right.
And he's a very wise, sage person. And when he speaks, there's something there, and you should listen to it because he's got a point. And like you said, he's turned the program around. And you and I had talked, I would have been okay with hiring him as a coach for Alabama.
Same way here. Yeah, and I can't blame him to some of his comments he might make to the media because they can really irritate the crap out of you. Sometimes some of the stupid shit that they say and do, and they get so biased. Watching the game, I forgot what it was the other day, but the team that they were rooting for was all of a sudden was losing. And I say rooting for, they're not supposed to be rooting for anybody, but
No,
sometimes
they're not.
the conversation seems to be towards the favor of that team, and all of a sudden it's going the other way around. I said, "You guys are phonies."
That's why I hated CBS calling the games. Gary Danielson, oh my God, I don't know why he's still got a job. Everybody hates him. It ain't just Alabama fans, it's Georgia fans, it's
I
every
know.
SEC fan. He hates the SEC.
And speaking of Georgia, boy, it's sad that Coach Smart's father passed away this past
Was it
week.
the day of the game? No, he fell and injured himself before the game and then died because of those injuries on the day of the game, wasn't it?
Yep, complications from the fall.
From the fall, yeah.
Yeah, really sad. So keeping our prayers, and somebody else I've been praying for too is the Carter family. I personally didn't care for his political ideology, but as a person, I had a lot of respect for him.
He was a great human being.
Yes, he is, and very graceful. He and his wife, and there's a lot to be said about some of that old folksy type behavior, and being true to your roots. It's really nice to see the tributes that he's been paid during this his funeral and stuff like that. So give a shout out to them and stuff. So but anyway,
Yeah, it's been an interesting couple of weeks. Jimmy Carter passed away. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau just resigned today.
that didn't surprise me to hear that. I didn't think it would be quite that soon because he had kind of indicated he wasn't going to run again, or I'm not sure exactly how their process works. But so when I heard it today, that didn't shock me. I thought it was a little bit sooner than it was than expected. So it's going to be an interesting 2025.
Yeah, it is. May you live in interesting times. I wish I knew who said that. Hang on, let me look that up. The evidence that phrase was in use was as early as 1936, provided in a memoir written by Hugh Knatchbull Huggison, a British ambassador to China. Yeah, it's a translation of a traditional Chinese curse. The expression is ironic. Interesting times are usually times of trouble.
That's not good.
Yeah.
But anyway,
It just seems, like the older we get, the more interesting the times become that we live in.
yes, it is. And the more the things change, the more they stay the same.
That is so, so true.
You know,
And you don't realize it until you get older.
yep. Well, you
And
got
then
to
when you hear the old folks saying, "We've already done this, it don't work," and you're like, "Ah, shut up, old man. You're just, yelling, get
don't know
off my
what you're talking
lawn."
about.
And then
Yep,
and then you get old and you're like, he was right. Everything that he was complaining about that we started 30 years ago, and we're doing it again now.
yep. JD Turner, Mr. Turner, my science teacher, he tried to have, we didn't have like big experiments in class and stuff like that. We just didn't have it in the school. And my senior year, he started bringing some of that stuff in, trying to do some experiments, when he was teaching the class. But anyway, a lot of the things that he talked about that was going to happen sure as hell did. He used to talk about cell phones. They didn't call it a cell phone, but the process, and you'll say, we'll have something, we'll hold it in our hands, we'll be talking. Next thing you know, we got the big old radio. The Uncle Leonard, he's the first one in our family to have a car phone.
Really.
Yep. He had it in his car and pick up, he'd call you and stuff like that. Yeah. So he's pretty interesting character. Yeah. So, anyway.
Yeah. Well, shoot, this is pause is as good as any place to wrap it up.
Yep. I got to get ready tomorrow morning. I'm going to meet, Cassie, your cousin, had a friend who's one of her clients that this person's husband is 90% disabled. He was in Afghanistan. He was a military working dog, bomb dog technician. He was clearing a building and the building collapsed on him and stuff like that. So I'm going to meet them at 8:30 tomorrow morning at our DAV chapter and see what we can do to help him with his disability claim. Keep your fingers crossed and hope like heck and all those veterans out there.
Yeah, I gotta finish getting ready for tomorrow. I gotta pack my lunch, get my clothes ready, get my gym stuff ready, then take my gym bag out to the truck. I gotta get my supplements ready. I gotta take all, like I said, I gotta take all that out to the truck.
You better let that damn truck warm up, because those clothes gonna be pretty damn close when you get ready to put them on. Because it's gonna be what, 20.
As far as I drive to get to work, they'll be just fine. And then when I get to work, I or to the gym, I set them inside the locker in the gym. So yeah, they're just fine by the time I put them on.
Otherwise, you'll be doing one of these numbers, shivering trying to put that stuff on.
Nah, they're already at room temperature by the time I get
All
my
right.
clothes put on.
Well, you be safe.
I will. You do the same. Stay warm. Hey, everybody that's north of Texas, that's in that Arctic blast, God be with you. Stay warm. Hopefully you don't lose power. You don't lose heat because
Stay
it's
out,
tough.
stay out of that snow, except for the little kids who dress up, want to go out and ride the slow
Snowmobile,
stuff. Otherwise, stay warm.
stay inside and drink
Yep,
lots of alcohol.
exactly. All right. Have a good
All right,
one.
y'all.
All
You
right.
take
Love
care,
you.
buddy.
All right.
Love
Bye.
you. Bye.